All right, FedEx is here. Let's see what parts they got for me. Cassius, come here. Cassius, come. Car parts. Cassius, we got any good car parts? Come here, bud. Thanks, man. Okay, everybody. So the last time I left off, I believe we were doing the tongue for the trailer, which I actually finished, and I'd given myself a deadline, which I hate doing, but I wanted to make it a trailerable trailer, something that trails. So I actually did that in 12 days. I wanted it done by the time I went down to H2O, and I did do that, and I haven't touched this thing since. But it is technically a trailer. I can hook it up to the car. It's very, very lightweight. I could pick it up with just, a couple fingers like that. But the whole thing might weigh 250 pounds at the most. I haven't actually weighed it yet. But I will, and when it's all done. So far, all I've done is trailed around the block, and it did an excellent job. I just wanted to see how it tracked around it, but it's doing great. So, as for now, I'll show you what I got for parts today, and we'll start putting them in. One of the things that's pretty funny here, and let me flip this around, is, there's Cassius. I made this tongue super long because I wasn't quite sure exactly how long to make it, and I know I'm going to make it shorter, but it's easier to cut it than to add metal. But I was thinking something that might be funny is if I put a false floor here, not a false floor, a floor coming out, I could put two seats, another row of 2 seats, another row of 2 seats, and I could drive around people just for a little while just to be funny. It would be like an NSX school bus, an 8-passenger NSX, basically 6 here, 2 there. So I don't know if I'm actually going to do that. Just for the sake of finishing this on time, it would be funny to do that and then, make it how I actually want to make it after. But I guess this thing can always be modified later. Anyway, today we are going to put in some parts that I just got in the mail, and it should be exciting, and I'm finally going to start doing this again. So, continuing the build. What's up, Cassius? Alright, back to the garage. Got some car parts. Alright, let's get in. Looks like I got air suspension, maybe. So we got this from Airlift. Thanks, Airlift. Big shout out to them. Thanks for hooking me up. Here, looks like these are probably going to be the bags. Let's see what they look like. I hate unboxing stuff with one hand. There we go. So, Airlift D2. Thank you so much. So these are for the trailer. Trailer's getting bags. I was going to originally hook up to the air suspension in this car, tap into one of the lines because it's got height sensors, but it would probably sense a leak if I did that, and it would keep giving me an error on the screen. Plus routing lines all the way down through the back into the tongue would be a pain. So Airlift suggested this. It has a little teeny compressor in it, so I'm actually going to upgrade that to a bigger one, I believe. Well, we'll see how it works. Maybe I won't need to. But it's a tankless system, so when it wants air, it's an on-demand kind of thing where the compressor kicks on and lifts up the bags. Now, this isn't going to weigh much because there's no engine in it, and right now, as I said before, I could lift it up with just a couple hands, or a couple fingers. It's not even maybe 250 pounds, if I had to guess, max, for this trailer. So, yeah. It should lift it up pretty quick, but if not, I could put a bigger compressor. I think I might be able to add a tank to it also. We'll see. But it's going to be interesting to see how this thing works. I've never used it before, but it is a standalone system. And because it's tankless, I don't know how long it's going to take to lift it up. And because there's no weight in the car, it should lift it up quick, but that also means it might lower quickly. And it came with this Bluetooth remote. Now, I wanted to get the the lesser model of this, which has a smaller remote. This remote is actually pretty big. I'll show it to you guys here in a minute. The one I wanted was small, like a garage door opener. But that one both bags can't be controlled individually, where this one, both bags can be controlled individually. So if I park on uneven ground, and I want to camp out, what has to happen is I can now pick up just one bag and put air in another bag, lessen it, and make this trailer even so that when I set up the tent on top of the trailer, it's nice and level. And then he will be comfortable. Alright, so the first thing I'd like to say is my NSX is on sleeve style bags, and if you're looking to do like performance style driving, I would not recommend sleeve style bags. There's a lot of body roll involved because they're so flexible and soft, as opposed to double bellows or even triple bellows. However, sleeve style bags allow you to go up a lot higher. So for my purpose of doing mild off-roading, going down trails and camping, it's perfect because I can give myself about, I think if I measured it correctly, it was around 8.5 inches, if I remember right, of ground clearance. So that's a lot of ground clearance, which I would not be able to get even close to that with double bellows. So for this purpose, they're perfect for me, especially when I'll be camping out on uneven ground. So that's why I went with sleeve style. Eventually, when I start doing track days with the NSX, I may switch over to a double bellows or even a triple bellows style. And let's do an unboxing of this here. So this is the 74,000, I think it's called. Something like that from Airlift. So let's see what this looks like. Alright, we got some instructions. For some reason I'm in the picture there. I don't know why. Need help? Yeah, I do need help. I need a lot of help. Alright, so this is what the kit looks like. Here's instructions. They give you a little bit of airline, some wiring harness, some zip ties, some fittings, and a fuse, it looks like. Some self-tappers. I don't know if I'll use any of this stuff. Let's see. Here we have the air filter that goes on the compressor. Some more airline. And right here, they give you a little baby, itty bitty, teensy weensy compressor. I will probably upgrade to a Viair 444. We'll see. That. And some more self-tappers, little clips, screws, nuts, bolts, little fitting there, barbed fitting. In here, see what this is? There's the controller. Now, what I don't like about this is how big it is. Honestly, storage in the NSX sucks. This thing probably won't even fit in the glove box, so I'll have to figure out how I'm going to mount this, where I'm going to mount it. That's why I wanted to go with the smaller remote, which is a quarter of this size. But that remote didn't allow me to control the bags individually. This one does, so that was my only option if I didn't want to sacrifice that. And then in this box right here, we have the management. Let's see. So that's the exhaust, I believe. And here is the two inputs. I'm sorry. These are the two outputs. These give air to each bag. One will be a left side, one will be a right side. And I'm guessing the compressor goes in through there. I don't know where the exhaust comes from. I don't see an exhaust port on this. So that's strange. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I was just thinking of how much of a silly project this is, but it's going to be fun, so. Alright, so I just propped it up here with something, stool. But yeah, so these 14 mils right here have to come off, but before I can get to all three of those, I believe I have to take off this rear window garnish first. Alright, so I didn't take those all the way off yet. By the way, I keep all my air lines on the ceiling, on reels. I've got one on each side of every car, so one in the middle and one on both sides of the garage. Makes life a lot easier when they're up there. But anyway, they're nice to just have them up here where you can grab them. You fill up the tires on this side whenever I need an air tool, anything like that. So, highly recommended for any garage, really. The other thing I like is when there's hard lines like piped on the wall, and you can just kind of have a short plug that you plug in. I don't know, either way, but it's the way I like it. Okay, I'm interrupting the video here to announce a pin giveaway. The rules are simple. All you have to do is log on to Facebook, follow and like the NSXTRA page on there. It's NSXTRA on Facebook. And then you have to guess what the number of this pin is. I just randomly selected one. So guess the number, and the first person that guesses it gets the pin. Whenever you run your air lines through anything, any metal bulkheads, like I am right there, try to use, the camera's not picking it up, it's too dark, but try to use existing rubber grommets so you could poke a hole in them and run your air line through. If you don't, you risk chafing it on sharp metal edges and making a hole in your line, and in some cases that could end up in an accident, total your car. So be careful about that. If there is no way to get it through an existing one, you go get rubber grommets and do it yourself. So, okay, so I got that through bolt out. I don't think it was the original one of this car. I think the guy who had the car before me just slapped a bunch of weird hardware, because that one over there, that long through bolt there, that's definitely not right. It's like 4 inches sticking out of the thing. But anyway, so once you get the through bolt out, I'm just gonna give this a little tap gently, because this thing is barely on this Widowmaker jack, and just there we go. So that's out and free. I'm gonna finish taking out the nuts on the top, pull it out, stick the new one in. Okay, bags are in. Just gotta put the through bolt through, tighten everything up on that side, and then I'll start running the lines. I gotta do it all on the other side too. One thing I should mention about sleeves is right now there's no air in it. And you're never supposed to lower a car on sleeve style bags. I doubt you're supposed to do it on bellows either, when there's no air in there. And the reason is because this will compress up there and it can pinch this and tear it. So before I lower this car, I mean, if it was an actual heavyweight car, I mean, right now it's just a 200-pound trailer, I'm not too concerned about it. I'll just lower it slowly and watch it. But normally you need air in there whenever you lower a car on bags, because you don't want to pinch it and tear that. So you always fill it with air and then lower it and put the weight on the wheels. Otherwise you could end up with big problems and ruin your expensive air setup. So it's not perfectly lined up from the factory, so I have to spin this, which also adjusts the height. And since I'm gonna make this thing slam all the way to the ground when I'm aired out, I'm just gonna set it all the way to low right now. Okay, so to do that, you got your spanner wrenches, you loosen your A-B rings, I forget which one's what, and then this thing actually spins all the way around, and you can adjust the height that way. Think of these as kind of stops to where you want it. And then once you have the bolt through, everything's lined up and nice, you're gonna wanna tighten both of these down to this. Also, using that will allow me to put air in the sleeve and lower the car down and load up the suspension without pinching the actual sleeve. Here's a little quarter turn shutoff valve I have, 90-degree shutoff. I always keep a couple of these in the car just in case of emergencies. If I get a hole in the line or something and I don't want it leaking out, I could get air to it using one of these or whatever I can just to get air into the bag, cut the line where it's broken, and put this. I also keep spare line in my car, but especially when I'm going cross country, I will keep all kinds of miscellaneous fittings. But if your line breaks anywhere in the car, You cut your line, you put this in, you turn it off, you'll have air in your bag. You get the air in your bag first, then you turn it off, and at least you could get to wherever you need to go to do a proper repair. The car down. I don't know if there's enough weight on this trailer to fully compress the suspension, but let's see. Let's do one side first. Ooh. Now let's try this side. She low. Laid out. I was gonna do something about these wheels. Oh man, that's funny. Eddie came and visited me. Hi, Eddie. Hi. And I'm underneath the trailer, and I just neatened up everything, found out where I'm gonna mount all this stuff. So I put the compressor there. Still gotta tuck these wires, shorten up this a little bit, but I cut out a lot of feet of airline because originally I was gonna go up to the front of this thing, and I just mounted this there. So yeah, there you go. I may actually mount a battery somewhere in here and just run all these wires to that, and then just have a voltage regulator so that I can charge the battery in this, the onboard battery, from the car, and I'll run those wires where I have these wires run now, which is through the tongue, along with my taillight wires. And everything's easily accessible by opening the hatch. There's the compressor. I'll have to mount the filter for it somewhere. And there's the management. All right, I played musical cars a little bit. Put the 92 back up there so I could take down the trailer. Doesn't need to be on the lift anymore because all that's left is wiring, and all that's gonna be done from up top, going through the bulkheads into the trunk. And body work, doors, stuff like that. That'll all be done from over here too. I ended up pulling the wires back out and just hooked up to a battery for now, just temporarily, so I don't have any harnesses back here yet on the hitch. And I just, as you guys just saw, I cut down the tongue. Now, the tongue is still too long. I wanted to leave a little bit of extra just to play with, but it's probably gonna get cut down to about there-ish. So I could take off probably another, looks like 16 inches, maybe a foot off of it. It's more than a foot, but a foot and a half. So proportionally, that should make it look a little nicer. But I need to make sure that I have the proper tongue weight before I start cutting any more off. So, yeah, I'm gonna take it for a ride. Alright everybody, thanks for watching. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate the support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below, and stay tuned for more videos coming shortly. I try to release one every week. Thanks.